Welcome back to the Players Zone YouTube channel, everybody. And in this video here, as we near closer to the Premier League season starting once again, I'm going to break down all 20 clubs' most exciting young players coming out this season. Some big money signings, some academy graduates, a few others lesser known, but I think these players will be important this season for each individual club, making a breakout, making a push for a World Cup squad, or potentially just guiding their side to a strong Premier League finish this season. A lot of different styles of players. Cannot wait to get into it. Let's jump into it now. We start with the Gunners, and for Arsenal, it goes without saying, Miles Lewis-Skelly is going to be one of their most exciting young talents. 18 years of age, 23 appearances last season in the Premier League. Calafiori was brought in as a starting left-back, but they found Miles Lewis-Skelly and he became the man. I think he will be the start of this season in the big games for Arsenal. He showed up in big games, scored some massive goals, defended really, really well for someone of his age. And what he showed was maturity on the football, inverting into midfield, carrying into spaces, massive versus Real Madrid and linking the game up to the midfield, like Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard. In other games going forward as well. I think he's the full package. His defensive acumen, top tier. His maturity on the football and composure on the football, top tier. I think we get an even more polished Miles Lewis-Skelly this season. And if that happens, Arsenal is so close to winning the Premier League title. I think he has what it takes to go and play for England at the World Cup. So massive year to come for him. Look to him to shine for Arsenal. I think he'll be their starting left back. And I think he'll be a big reason why Arsenal will push for the league title yet again. For Aston Villa, it's Samuel Illing Jr. for me, a player that's yet to make his professional debut for Aston Villa, but has shown some real bright sparks in pre-season for the Villains. Last year, a real lack of opportunity, sent away, spent time at Bologna, initially at Middlesbrough as well. He's had a global feel of football. I think this season here, with the lack of signs Aston Villa have made and the lack of depth, I think their final third there with the rotation needed in Europe, it could be a chance for Samuel Illing Jr. to start on that left-hand side of midfield or that left-attacking midfield position that Morgan Rogers has taken hold of and show what he's all about. Again, a very raw talent, but someone who can make things happen in the final third, potentially get a goal or assist. And I think from there, the confidence can grow. I think it's a big year for him to make his stamp at Aston Villa. If not, it feels like a real unfortunate signing at the wrong time. There's been a lot of good players at Aston Villa in the final third. It's his time now to make a statement. Bournemouth's most exciting player for me has to be Alex Scott, someone who featured a fair chunk last season, over 20 appearances in all competition for Iriola's side. We know, obviously, Lewis Cook alongside Ryan Christie is the starting combination in midfield, but Alex Scott could have something a little bit different. Not much of a worker defensively like those two are, but his ingenuity, his creativity, and his ability on the football to make things happen, to tip the game over, to spread the play, is something that really separates him from a Ryan Christie and from a Lewis Cook. I think he'll grow into that role this season, especially with Lewis Cook needed defensively as well, to fill in at right back, to fill in at left back as well. The back line have been very, very much ravaged this season for Bournemouth, so look to Alex Scott to get more opportunities in midfield with Lewis Cook being Mr. Fix-It, and I think he can really show how much of a holistic, talented midfielder he is and grow into that role as that double pivot in the Bournemouth midfield. Brentford's most exciting young player for me is Anthony Malambo. The 20-year-old midfielder comes across from Feyenoord to join this Brentford side, this fresh-faced Brentford side, and to sit in midfield alongside Jordan Henderson. He's done a massive job to do this season, but I think what we've seen so far from his short and young career is that he's up to the task. 7 goals and 7 assists last season, a physical presence, bringing the ball up the pitch and into the final third, a taller midfielder, someone that can probably match the physicality and the hustle and the bustle of the Premier League. He'll learn a lot from Jordan Henderson alongside him as well, and it's going to be a sort of experience by fire in many regards. He'll be thrown into the deep end. He'll have to learn on the fly, and I feel like it'll be for the better of him going forward. So Malambo will be a name to keep on the top of your heads this season, because he's going to be someone that's going to be so important for Brentford, someone that's so young and has so much ability. If he has a great breakout year, the Big Six will be after him, I think. So a massive season to come for Anthony Malambo. We'll go back to the South Coast and to Brighton, and Yassine Ayari is the young player to keep an eye on for me. A 21-year-old who was pivotal last season for Brighton. A lot of the talk has been about Baliba, his performances last season, him potentially leaving to Manchester United this season. But Yasin Ayari, for me, was the more consistent, the ever-present midfielder in that Brighton side. He was the cog that made that side turn, a little bit more defensively oriented, can clean up defensively, drive that ball forward. Not fantastic in tight areas, but his vision, his passing is something that really stands out for me. He can progress the ball forward. He gets Brighton ticking over. And where Belieber gets all the plaudits and the credit, I think Yasin Ayari is the unspoken hero and the real hero of that midfield for Brighton. So look to him to have a massive season, especially if Belieber heads off to Old Trafford. It'll be an Ayari-led midfield, and he will be very, very pivotal to Brighton and their performances this season. We come to the Clarets and Burnley, and their most exciting young player for me has to be Leslie Ugochukwu, joining from Chelsea on a permanent fee this time around. Really underwhelmed, I feel like, at the Saints last season, but no one really succeeded last year in that side. I look back 2 seasons ago to Ugochukwu's time at Chelsea in that young, developing Chelsea side. He looked the talent, he looked the bit, and bigger size in terms of height and midfield, very capable with the ball at his feet, and can get out of tight spaces. And has shown glimpses across the last 2 seasons, especially before that major injury at Chelsea, that he can be a talent that can be developed and can be a centrepiece of a Premier League midfield. So I think this is another free hit for him at Burnley to go and show what he's all about, try and keep them up, work with a very, very organised spine, Maximo Esteve, and the likes of Kyle Walker and that back four that's going to be so solid. So he can show what he's all about, not only defensively, but bringing that ball forward and driving Burnley into that final third there. So look to Ugochukwu to be a breakout player this season and the most exciting young player at Burnley in this upcoming season. Coming to Chelsea next, and for me it's Jamie Gittins, the man who's joined across from Borussia Dortmund. It was a really, really bright spark last season, early in the year, when Dortmund were underwhelming. But as they got better and as the season went on, he was faded out of that Dortmund lineup. So a chance for him to refine some form and fight for his starting 11 spot. Chelsea have always wanted balance on both wings. Pedro Neto has been fantastic in his time on the right-hand side. Can Jamie Gittins make that left-hand channel his own? Can he perform at his best? And if he does, I think he can tear this Premier League apart. 12 goals and 3 assists last season. He's an output winger. He's a very direct, inverted style of winger. I expect to have a lot of opportunities at Chelsea with a lot of the attention at Cole Palmer, João Pedro and Pedro Neto. It could be Jamie Gittins that gets off the leash this season and dominates. So keep an eye out for Jamie Gittins to be a breakout young talent at Chelsea this year. Crystal Palace's young, exciting players, Roman Essa. I've mentioned his name now on multiple occasions. He is a championship baller that has shown sparks in the Premier League. 1 goal, 1 assist last season, limited opportunities, but with Eberechi Eze on the out, looking at Tottenham Hotspur, and Crystal Palace on a bit of a rebuild now with Mark Gahey on the out as well. Look to Roman Essa alongside Ismail Assar in behind Jean-Philippe Mateta to cause all sorts of problems for the Premier League this season. This structure has worked for Palace under Oliver Glasner. The number 10s, both of them in behind the striker, have flourished. I think Roman Essa will do that. He's had opportunities in pre-season and looked okay. Again, a very raw player, someone that's going to finish up and polish up in the final third, but that will come over time. And I think as the season goes on, Roman Essa will develop his confidence, develop his belief. I can't wait to see that link up with Adam Wharton and Roman Essa in the final third. It's going to be very, very exciting to see. They never really get these young players and their signings wrong at Crystal Palace. I think Roman Essa will definitely be someone to keep an eye out for this season. Across to Everton next, and for me it's Tieno Barry, coming across from Villarreal and Basel last season. Had a great year. Goals, assists, involvement. And I think for me, I said it on the podcast, with players like Isaac and Ekitike and these long, strong, capable, win the ball type forwards going for so much money, Tieno Barry could be one of the great steals of the window for under 40 million euros in the end. He is super, super talented, super tall as well. We're looking at 6'5" plus, but with the ball at his feet is very, very capable. You watch some of his highlights, you watch some of his performances for Villarreal, and he is the complete centre forward in the mold of Isaac, in the mold of Ekitike, and I think he will flourish this season with Grealish, Shrewsbury Hall, Iliman Ndiaye at Everton. It's going to be a very, very bright year, but he will be the man. Tieno Barry will be the man to stand out this season as the most exciting young player at Everton. Over to Fulham, and there was literally only 2 players under the age of 23 this season. I've gone with Josh King as being one player to keep an eye out for. Can't see him getting much playing time, but that midfield isn't as deep and as strong as it used to be. He could get some squad rotation minutes. So Josh King is one of the few Fulham players under the age of 23. He could make an impact this season. He will get his opportunities with some rotation. It's if he can take this year the midfielder looking to make a stamp at this Fulham Football Club. We now come to the newly promoted Leeds United, and their most exciting young player is Wilfred Gnonto. He burst onto the scene 2 seasons or so ago in the Premier League for Leeds and looked at times to try and guide them to safety. Unfortunately went down, but it's went through the trials and tribulations of the Championship. And despite having the same output I would have hoped last season from him, under 10 goals last year in the Championship, I think this year could be his year. He knows about the hustle and bustle of the Premier League. He's been there. He's played in the Championship. He knows how tough English football can be, how physically demanding it is. This year could be the year for him. The 4th year in England, getting confidence in his feet. Such a dangerous and dynamic player that can get to the bar line, can chop inside. On his day, a very, very good finisher as well. I think that's the big thing for Wilfred Gnonto this season. If he can become more clinical in front of goal, he is going to shine this season for Leeds United and guide them to a very competitive finish. So keep an eye out for Wilfred Gnonto, probably their most important player, but also one of the most dangerous young talents in world football. Over to the red side of Merseyside, and it's Florian Wirtz for Liverpool, who is their most exciting young player. And this goes without saying. The 22-year-old has absolutely dominated football across the last 24 months. Comes off a 16-goal and 14 assists season last year, and what was not really his best football and was impacted by injury. So it's only up from here. You saw what he did in the Community Shield, how dangerous and dynamic he can be with 1-touch, 2-touch stuff, how he links up with Ekitike and Salah. He has this vision and this composure in the football. He seems to see everything on the football pitch and can see the most impossible pass and make that most impossible pass happen. I think he will absolutely dominate the Premier League this season. Low blocks, he is the ultimate breaker of a low block with his vision, his smarts, his 1-touch, 2-touch stuff, the ability to get out of tight areas. Florian Wirtz is the full package. I still think he's one of the best number 10s, if not the best number 10 in world football. I think he'll show it this season. Just 22 years of age, Liverpool have got themselves a gem. Next up is Man City, and their most exciting young player has to be James Trafford. The £30 million fee to join Man City from Burnley, back at Man City once again, looking to take that number 1 spot, and he deserves it. Probably one of the best keepers in England last season, keeping 29 clean sheets in the Championship. Absolutely ridiculous. A great shot stopper that's been to a League One, been in the Championship. Now time back in the Premier League to show what he's all about. He is a very, very good penalty shot stopper, a much more consistent goalkeeper with his hands compared to Ederson, and we know how dangerous he can be with the ball at his feet as well. I think it is going to be a very, very exciting season for Man City fans, having James Trafford in goal, an uber consistent, calm goalkeeper in goal. Not the highs and lows of Ederson, but the consistency and the quality of James Trafford. Considered only 16 goals last season, goes to show how good this guy is. So keep it up for James Trafford this season, the new number 1 at Manchester City. I believe the most exciting young player for Manchester United this season will be Patrick Dorgu. The 20-year-old playing left wing back has shown a lot of bright sparks in pre-season. The ultimate up and down wing back. So much energy, so much intensity. United did a lot of their attacking work down the left-hand channel in pre-season. A great deliverer of balls into the box. Got on the score sheet as well. And last season, it was rough. It was hard for him joining the club mid-season, but he looks a little bit more polished, much fitter this season. And for me, I think the big watch for him is how consistent he can be defensively. Can he shut down attacking midfielders and wide players, a more consistent ability? And can you do it week in, week out? I think for me, the word is consistency and defensive IQ. If he's got those two in abundance this season, looking at one of the best wing backs in the Premier League. If he's more involved, if he's doing what we saw in pre-season, Manchester United are a massive threat to push into that top 4 or top 5. So keep an eye out for Patrick Dorgu in this upcoming Premier League season. Next up is Newcastle United, and I've gone with Lewis Hall. The 20-year-old left-back has been probably one of the most underrated young signings in the Premier League's last 5 to 10 years. Has really gone under the radar, Mr. Consistent for this Newcastle backline. Did a massive job to take a hold at left-back position. His 3rd full season out at Newcastle United. Got the 4 assists last year in the Premier League. I think that number will only go up. And we know how important the Newcastle backline is. I often say it in the prediction videos. If Newcastle's backline is keeping clean sheets and being consistent and being solid. It leads to Newcastle United victories, and he's pivotal to that. Consistency, a bit more attacking output from this season, and I think we're looking at one of the best left-backs in England and another competitor for that left-back spot for the World Cup. So keep an eye out for Lewis Hall this season. I think another massive jump in his performances this year and a massive player in Newcastle's push for Champions League football once again. Nottingham Forest, most exciting young player this year is going to be Elliot Anderson. Joined the club last year from Newcastle United, grew into this role, a very, very consistent box-to-box type midfielder, and you don't get many of these proper box-to-box type players in the Premier League. Fantastic into a challenge, but also very, very good at getting that ball and driving that ball forward, spraying the passes, dribbling into spaces, taking grass, and being that confident dribbler of the football. Many young players, especially in midfield areas, can be loose with it, poor first touch, unable to deal with pressure. Elliot Anderson is the opposite. He can deal with pressure. He can take on challenges, dribble into spaces. His tight control is very, very good. His ball delivery, fantastic as well. Such a key figure of that Nottingham Forest counter-attack last season. Look to him yet again to be that heartbeat, that cog in midfield. Really take over that Ryan Yates role in midfield and dominate an engine in that midfield. The proper box-to-box midfielder. And if he's doing what he does best, which is get up and down that park, Nottingham Forest will be much better off for it. So keep an eye out for Elliot Anderson this season. Another massive season for him to come, and one of the more exciting young players in the world right now. Next club is Sunderland. I think their most exciting young player will be Mark Gui, a big signing coming across now on a deal from Chelsea, a real opportunity to make his mark in the Premier League. Struggled his time at Chelsea, broke onto the scene at Barcelona, but has a limited opportunities ever since that point in time. Was clinical in the Conference League, a lot of goals in that Conference League phase for Chelsea, but it's an opportunity to be the man to lead the line for a Premier League football club. And Sunderland are looking dangerous this season. They've got some talent, they've got some quality, so he's going to get more opportunities than probably you'd expect coming into the season. It's about how he can finish them off. Can he show us that he's the electric, all-rounded centre forward that can score goals, create for himself, and create from others? I think his ability to finish in the box is number one for me. If he's showing that, then if he can create for others and himself, that's just a bonus. But what we've been showing is he's a profile of player that just makes things happen in the final third. Someone that is a heartbeat of a front line. And I feel like if he's getting involved early, if he's getting some confidence with a few goals in the first 5 games, it could be a very, very exciting season for Mike Gui, an exciting season for Sunderland. If he's bagging goals, if he's the man up top, the proper number 9 that they need, they probably stay safe this season. So keep an eye out for Mike Gui to make a stand and finally to get back on the map as one of those key young players in world football. Across to Spurs now, and I've gone with Matisse Tell as one of the more exciting young players coming to the season. He only made the 3 goals and the 2 assists last year in a year full of adjustment coming in under Ange. Then the inconsistency with Premier League performance and Europa League games. It was all a shambles last year at Spurs, but this is a chance for him to get back on track, back to that 10 goal and 6 assist season from season 23-24. We know how difficult it can be to get going in the Premier League, but with a fresh start here at Spurs, a front line that's looking very, very dangerous as the games go on. But Kudus adding that width from the right, Dominic Solanke, a clinical striker up top. If he can make that left-hand side spot his own, fill in those massive boots of Heung-min Son, I think it's going to be a very, very exciting future for Matisse Tell. We know he's got that turn of speed. We know he's agile. We know he's good with the ball at his feet. Can he show us that end product? That's what we're waiting for this season. And if he's got that, he's got the whole package and he's going to deliver for Spurs this year. So keep an eye for Matisse Tell. A year of show us what you've got, I think, this year. It's a free hit for him. And I think if he makes that left-hand side his own, he could create a very famous career here at Tottenham Hotspur. West Ham's young, exciting talent is El Hadji Malik Diouf, who comes in from Slavia Prague off a 7-goal and 3 assist season in the Czech side last year. He will hopefully be that dynamic, dangerous talent that adds a bit of spark into this West Ham side. They were very, very boring, very pragmatic last season, and it showed. They had created not enough opportunities, and he can either play as a winger or a wing back, but he can get up that pitch. We've seen in pre-season deliveries into the box, danger going forward. I feel like he's going to be one of the most underrated fullbacks in the Premier League this season just because of how good he is in terms of getting that ball and getting it forward and delivering and making things happen in the final third. These days, fullbacks and wingbacks are more marked on what they can do going forward and Juve has got that in an abundance. He's a threat for goal. He's a threat for an assist. And I think with players like Jared Bowen in that final third to help him out and to create options for him, Nicholas Füllkrug in his second full season, I think it could be a massive season for Juve this year. So the new signing, El Hadji Malik Diouf, is going to be the most exciting young talent coming at West Ham this season. Off to Wolves next, and it's a new signing for Lopez, who's going to be their most exciting young talent. I've seen a fair few games of him playing for Real Betis, a side I followed a lot last season. Quite talented, quite tricky, your proper Spanish midfielder on the football. Adds a different avenue to this Wolves side, especially when you've got the hustle and bustle of João Gomez in that midfield there as well, and they're more defensively orientated 3 centre-halves as well. The midfield is very, very exciting. 8 goals and 2 assists last season. And showed some very bright signs in pre-season. I think more importantly for me, he does play the number 10, but will look to sort of play as a second shadow striker from the looks of it in pre-season alongside Jürgen Strand-Larsen. So it's a very, very dynamic, young, exciting front line. And I think Lopez will really, really flourish in that sort of free role in and around Strand-Larsen. He will get a lot of assists, a lot of goals because of the attention that Strand-Larsen attracts. So keep an eye on for him. I think he could be a player that can absolutely dominate the Premier League. We know these Spanish players do well. I think he'll be the next one to break out in the Premier League and be one of the most dangerous players in the league. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is all 20 Premier League clubs and my thoughts on some of their more exciting young players coming into this season. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Who is your club's most exciting young talent? And who do you think is going to be the most exciting young talent in the whole league? Who will win that Young Player of the Year award? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, guys, smash a like on it. Subscribe to the Player Zone channel. Press that post notification bell so you don't miss a video or podcast here in the channel. We're getting very, very close to the Premier League season starting. Only a few sleeps away, so get excited for that. Have a great day, guys. Enjoy the football, and I'll see you guys in the video very, very soon. Till next time, guys. See you later.